Hello YouTube, and thank you very much for tuning in. What I have for you today is an overview of the new 60-degree aluminum cone cups from Hawk Innovative Tech. What I'm going to try and do is give you a good look at the product, show you how to configure your solvent trap with the cone cups, talk about any pros and cons that I think you might be interested in, and maybe some final thoughts at the end. Now, I purchased a set of cone cups from Hawk with my own money because I was intrigued by what I had read and seen online about the idea of the 60-degree design. When you purchase your cone cups, they're going to come nicely boxed like all the Hawk products are. Mine had a kind of cellophane shrink wrap on it, like so, and of course it was nicely wrapped in packing paper. And of course, like all the Hawk products that you purchase, they include a pocket constitution. And you know, this document is our foundation of our culture and heritage and our legal rights as citizens. So, you know, just take a second and look at it, if nothing else, and flip through it. You're going to be really impressed. You know, it's a remarkable document and the foundation of our country in every sense of that word. Okay, I don't know about you, but when I heard about 60-degree cone cups, the first question I had was, what's the 60-degree stuff about? You know, where's that nomenclature come from? And what you have, I've drawn a kind of primitive center line here on the cone cup. The base here, if you will, and the two sides of the cone describe an equilateral triangle with 60 degrees at the apex and at each, I don't know, corner. If you're a math teacher, forgive me. It's been a long time since I've taken high school geometry. So, better picture here. This is, of course, 90 degrees. And here you see 30 degrees on this side and 30 degrees on this side for a total of 60 degrees of arc here. And as we remember, there are 180 degrees in a triangle. So we have 60, 60, and 60 for a total of 180. Okay? That's where the 60-degree designation comes from. Now, the flagship product, as I like to call it, which utilizes the truly innovative spacer and spacer cap design, the pre-drilled, of course, spacer caps there, you can see side by side that the pre-drilled spacer cap angle is broader, if you will. I think that the real term is obtuse. Anyway, it's not as acute or pointy as we have here. So this is 60 degrees. This is probably closer to, 80-ish degrees, all right? So 60 degrees and, something greater. And you see it's not as, I don't know, I'll use pointy for lack of a better term, okay? Now, okay, so it's 60 degrees. So what's special about that? Well, the smart folks in the room have determined through their experimentation that you could very well get better performance from your solvent trap using a configuration like this. The 60-degree configuration is what experimenters sort of settled on, and Hawk is in touch with its customers and knew that there was interest in that, and so they started producing these cone cups. And they're available in 6061 aluminum, which is what you see here, in stainless, and also in titanium. Okay. Now, so that's the first question I had, is what's the 60-degree stuff all about? Second question I had was, how do I configure this in my B-size solvent trap? And we're using a B-size because that's the tube that I happen to have right here, okay? Now, with the flagship product, as I like to call it, you stack your spacers and spacer caps in pretty much any configuration that you want, and then you can slide the tube over like so and pitch it up and have everything slide down, and you're good to go. Put the end caps on. All right. But it gets a tiny bit fiddly because about here on the Hawk product, there's a secondary relief area inside the tube to accommodate the shoulder that you see here, like so, okay? And that extra relief area allows you to take this tube and mate it to third-party accessories if you would want to, okay? Now, on the website, when you go to order the cone cups, they recommend 6 and a spacer and a wave spring. And I think that's kind of a semantic error, and I'll show you why in a second. Here are 6 cone cups and a B-size tube, and they will just fit. If I had flush end caps, tube caps, which these are not, if I had flush tube caps, 6 would fit just fine. But the design, the shoulder area here, which I don't want to give up because I like the ability to use the accessories, make this so it's easy, means that you're really only going to be able to get 4 in. Let's get it in frame for you there. Because you've got the relief area at the other end, at the other tube cap, so it's going to sit like so, okay? Or really, let's see if I can do this, like so, okay? So the correct number is 4, is what you want. Now, what about configuring it? Well, really simple. Let's put an end cap on. Now, this is an early generation B-size tube, so I do not have the O-rings that are shipped with them now. So you'll see in a second, you might not need one of the spacers that I'm going to show you. Okay, and then just take the stack of cones, flip them over, and I don't know if you heard that, let me do it for you again. They just slide right in just wonderfully. There's almost no shake or rattle. The tolerances are just exactly where you want it. Now remember, you've got that relief area here, and you're going to have a little bit of a space that you're going to need to address. So in this particular configuration, I do that with one size 2, that's a 5mm spacer, and one size 1, a little bitty one, that's a 2mm spacer. Let me get them in there all right. That's one size 2 and one size 1 for a total of 7mm. And then a wave spring, like so. Let's get the wave spring in for you. Okay. You can barely see that. And then we'll put on the other tube end cap. And right about there, where there's about 1/8 of an inch of thread gap, I begin to get tension against the wave spring. So I've got, let's call it 1, 2, and a bit. And I'm all nicely snugged up. Okay, no rattle at all. So easy to configure, Maybe a little easier if you're in a hurry to get the cups in than with the spacer and spacer caps. Now I've taped these together, of course, so I can use it as a prop, but you wouldn't do that if you were actually using it. So this can get just a tiny bit fiddly, but it's no big deal once you've done it a couple of times. And my review of the B-size tube, you'll see me configure it and take it apart, so you can see how easy it really is with the spacers and spacer caps. Okay, so configuration, no big deal. Likewise, I don't think there's going to be any issues as far as maintenance is concerned and cleaning. The production values on the 60-degree tube cups is just fantastic. There's no ridge or machining marks on the inside of these cups. They're just beautifully done, Just the same production values that you see in all the Hawk product. It's wonderful attention to detail, okay? Now, if I had to pick a negative, and I don't really think it's a negative, it is the fact that unlike the flagship design product here with the pre-drilled spacer cap, to make manufacturing more efficient and keep the pricing where it needs to be, Hawk is producing the 60-degree cone cups undrilled. Now there's a sort of depression here if you wanted to get a sort of starting point for a drill, and this allows them to send out a blank or uncut 60-degree cone cup, and then you drill it for the particular bore brush size requirement that you have. Okay, this is 6061 aluminum. I would have no hesitation about drilling this on my my drill press. A metal lathe, of course, would be the absolute best way to get, you know, perfect concentricity, but many of us don't have access to a metal lathe or own one. So I think you could drill these pretty well with your the stuff you have in your garage. The stainless and the titanium I can't speak to because I wouldn't undertake drilling stainless or titanium with my home drill press. So, but those metals are available, those configurations are available if you wanted it. What about the weight difference? Well, this solvent trap configured just as you see it with 4 60-degree cone cups, 2 spacers, and a wave spring comes in at 5.8 ounces. The same tube, and this is the 3/8, and I've taken off the barrel adapter so we can just weigh the raw tube here like this. Completely configured with spacers and spacer caps, again aluminum, comes in at 5.9 ounces. So the cone cup configuration is slightly lighter. If you want the absolute lightest configuration, the aluminum would do it. I don't have the weight for you on the titanium or the stainless cups. What about the cost differential, or the cost in general? If you already have the basic B-size solvent trap kit, and these are B-size prices now, the aluminum 6061 cones are going to cost you $11.30 each, and you're going to need 4, so that's you know, $45 and change, right? If you wanted to go to the stainless, they'd be $12.88 each, and the titanium is $24.84 each. So priced just right at where they need to be. If you bought this solvent trap kit configured, the flagship product, ready to go out of the box with the spacer and spacer caps design, it's going to cost $166.75, my notes say, online from the Hawk website. If you build it up from scratch with the tube, the spacer caps, 4 cones, and the 2 spacers that I'm using, the number 1 size, the number 2 size, and a wave spring, it comes to about $146 if I did my math correctly. So building it up from scratch is going to be slightly less expensive. Of course, you're going to have to undertake the drilling here, so you need to determine, you know, what's that sort of hassle factor like for you as far as that is concerned. So approximately the same weight, very close to the same price, slightly less expensive with the if you build it up from component parts, and very affordable if you just need the 60-degree cone cups because you already own the basic solvent trap kit from Hawk. So I think that in closing, what I want to say is the product exhibits all the fine production values that the whole product, Hawk Innovative Tech product line demonstrates. They're well made, everything fits just fine. Yes, you can buy these from, I don't know, outside the country and from other vendors, but if you get it from Hawk, you know they're going to drop right in like I showed you. There's not going to be an excessive margin between the inside diameter here and the outside diameter of the cone cup, so you're going to get the performance that you want from this if you want to use it. You'll be supporting an American company, and it just keeps, it's the whole product offering is in line with the way that Hawk seems to listen to us as customers and address our interests and our needs and requirements as they change. So I hope you found this informative. Check it out. Now you know why they're called 60-degree solvent, 60-degree cone cups. And thank you very, very much for watching. I'll see you again next time.